Hello, and thanks for watching. My name is Lisa, and I'm a registered dietitian and personal trainer at Healthiest Ways to Wellness. Today, I am happy to share with you 4 ways you can start to eat a more anti-inflammatory meal plan. Before getting started, I think it's beneficial to understand why eating for anti-inflammatory can benefit you. Take a moment to consider if you cut your finger while chopping vegetables. The cut becomes red and tender as cells begin to fight off any potential bacteria and heal the injury. Over the next couple days, the injury heals as if it never happened. Another case of inflammation is if that injury occurs day after day. The immune system doesn't have the chance to fully fight off any bacteria or really just that injury itself. In this case, the immune system may start to attack your regular healthy cells, really wreaking havoc on your body. One of the ways this can happen is with highly processed foods that are commonly found in our typical American diet. Over time, the resulting inflammation can lead to chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, asthma, and even depression, to name a few. Although there are no magic foods, the important thing is putting the right combination of foods together. Therefore, if you want to eat for long-term health, reducing inflammation is crucial. The first way I'd like to share with you for cooling inflammation is to increase your consumption of fruits and vegetables. Antioxidants are found in fruits and vegetables that safely interact with damaging free radicals in the body. The more brightly colored the fruit or vegetable, the higher the antioxidant components in there. When planning your grocery trip, I think it's important to start considering what type of produce you might want to use throughout the week so you don't get to the end of the week with some rotten items in your fridge. At Aldi's, I was able to find some great peppers here that can make a great snack on the go or even packed into a lunch. Some tasty raspberries that are great in oatmeal or even yogurt to naturally sweeten. Strawberries, just because they're one of my favorites and they're brightly colored, so more antioxidants. A ton of spinach, which can work great in salads or a handful tossed onto some eggs for breakfast, or even thrown into a smoothie so those kids never know. Some zucchini, which is great roasted or even sauteed, using it as a side dish in a meal or again with some eggs. I splurged on the pomegranate because it just looked too inviting. The seeds would go great with that spinach or even again on some oatmeal. I was able to pick up 2 avocados and then even cucumbers, which I cut into slices, which works great for an alternative to crackers or chips. When considering your produce, again, it's important to focus on vegetables because we tend to lack there. So try to eat the colors of the rainbow, variety of colors for more antioxidants, and focus on how you can make half your plate vegetables at every meal. The second step I'd like to share with you towards an anti-inflammatory meal plan is to optimize your fat intake. But first, let's get things straight. All fats are not created equal. In the typical American diet, we have 2 problems. We don't eat enough of the right kinds of fats called omega-3 fatty acids, and we eat too much of the types of fats that decrease omega-3 benefits. So today we will focus on how to increase your omega-3 fatty acid consumption and decrease omega-6 fatty acids and trans fats. Let's start with talking about omega-3 fatty acids. This is a fat that helps heal your body. This fat is essential to life where we have to get it through food because our body cannot make this type of fat. Better yet, in terms of inflammation, omega-3 fatty acids help decrease 2 inflammatory proteins in our body called C-reactive protein, or CRP, and interleukin-6. Better yet, omega-3 fatty acids help increase satisfaction and fullness at meals. Here are a few examples of some of my favorite omega-3 fatty acid sources. Tuna or salmon would be another great choice. Any really cold water fish, sardines, anchovies. I recommend that people eat fish 2 times a week. 3 to 4 ounces, which would be about the size of the palm of your hand. If you don't like fish, other great sources would be eggs, olive oil, almonds, chia seeds or flaxseed, and sunflower seeds. The next fat we will talk about is omega-6 fatty acids. Omega-6 is also an essential fatty acid that we need to get through food because our body cannot make it. In order to have a healthy, balanced diet, the body requires a balance of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Unfortunately, in the typical American diet, we get way more omega-6 fatty acids. So much more that it tends to be about 14 to 25 times more omega-6 fatty acids than omega-3. Therefore, we have an imbalance. Omega-6 fatty acids are often found in different types of oil, such as vegetable, safflower, sunflower, soybean, and grapeseed oil. Now you may be thinking, I don't cook or use those types of oils, so I'm good. But unfortunately, a lot of the foods we eat have those oils in them. Let's take a look at some common labels. Here I have a typical salad dressing that I hear a lot of people like, and if I look closely at the ingredients label, it has vegetable oil categorized as soybean and or sunflower oil. So this would be something that you want to try to limit in your regular day. Another example is some frozen salmon that I found, and on the label here it says it has soybean oil. So that would be another one, rather than the frozen salmon, to choose fresh. The third type of fat that can decrease the benefits of omega-3 fatty acids is something called trans fat. I like to think of these as man-made fats. They are not found naturally in Earth. Therefore, your body does not really know how to process that type of fat adequately, and it really wreaks havoc. Some examples of foods that might have that type of trans fat in it could be anything that you find in a bag or a box or even a can. One of the examples I found here was just a regular chocolate pudding. When I look over at the ingredients on the label, there's clearly stated something called partially hydrogenated fat or oil, and that's going to be a type of one of these trans fats. So when you're looking at labels, you really want to steer clear of anything that says partially hydrogenated oils. So I understand that looking at ingredients labels can be a daunting task. One of the best things to do is really to eat whole and fresh ingredients prepared at home so you can control what goes into that food. But some really good swaps that I want you to consider would be maybe for that salad dressing. Instead of buying a bottle of a pre-made salad dressing, to swap that out and make your own with an olive oil base, vinegar, and your favorite herbs and spices. Or for that frozen salmon, instead trying to buy fresh salmon and adding your flavors instead, like lemon or salt and pepper, a little dill. One benefit I saw is when I picked up the frozen salmon versus the fresh salmon, the fresh was a little less expensive, and at home it'll take less time to cook. Other benefits would be maybe putting some chia seeds into your yogurt or oatmeal in the morning, nuts as a great on-the-go snack, and even sunflower seeds could top your salad instead of some croutons. Again, fats are really beneficial to your body, and we need that for daily living, but choosing the right types of fats is key. Therefore, try to get in the habit of reading ingredients labels and steer clear of hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated fats, and start to limit the use of soybean oil, sunflower, safflower, and grapeseed oil in your foods. The third way to help cool inflammation in your body is to consider a gluten-free meal plan. Gluten is a protein found in wheat products that when consumed may trigger an immune response that damages and irritates the digestive tract lining. Avoiding gluten means more than just eliminating traditional breads, pastas, cereals, and pizza. It also may lurk in many products that have added sauces or seasonings or anything with natural flavorings. To make it a little easier on yourself, I encourage for people to choose naturally gluten-free sources such as beans, rice. I have some oatmeal would be gluten-free, steel-cut oats, quinoa are great examples as far as these examples go. Other types would be brown rice and wild rice. I know it can be tempting to look at just the front of a box and say, great, that says gluten-free, it's good for me. Unfortunately, when I look closer at the label, it still is gluten-free, but in the ingredients, they're using an omega-6 fatty acid in here, which is a fat we discussed earlier to try to limit in your daily meals. Avoiding gluten can be very challenging, so really be careful of the foods you eat, read those labels, and try to opt for the more fiber-rich, naturally gluten-free items. The fourth way I want to help you reduce inflammation in your body is to work towards limiting and eventually avoiding processed sugars and refined grains. Common sources of these are found in candies, sugars, high fructose corn syrup, breads, pastries, and even soda, sweetened drinks, and fast food. So I have a few examples here. We have typical candies, that's a given, right? Pastries, cookies, but one that I wanted to really point out too was regular condiments tend to have more high fructose corn syrup in them. So beware, look at the ingredients on the back and check if there is any high fructose corn syrup, and find a variety that does not have that. There are many on the market that don't contain high fructose corn syrup. Another option was typical yogurt. You wouldn't think that you should beware of yogurt and watch the amount of sugar in there. So when we take this regular yogurt, just a vanilla flavor, and look at the sugar content, it has 18 grams of sugar. Well, that doesn't really mean much, but what I want you to also look at is over in the ingredients label. Is sugar listed anywhere? Or maybe one of the hidden sources of sugar, anything ending in ose, O-S-E, fructose, sucrose. In this example, sugar is listed. So we know that in this yogurt, the food company has added more sugar into it to make you want to eat more. So an alternative might be to choose a plain yogurt and sweeten it yourself with some berries, maybe a little scoop of some nut butter. So when I look at the two side to side, instead of the 18 grams of sugar, I now only have 11. And I'm sweetening it instead with natural sources of sugar, fruits that also give me antioxidants. Some other ways to consider lowering your sugar and processed grain intake: swap out that breakfast cereal or piece of bread in the morning for oatmeal or an egg omelet with your favorite fixings of vegetables. Maybe you're short on time in the morning. What I would suggest doing is making a 3 or 4 egg omelet, eat half of it, and save the other half for a meal the next day that you can reheat. Maybe you've been trying to kick that soda habit, but really would miss the flavor in your beverage. Instead, take a plain glass of water, add some lemons, limes, cucumber, or raspberries. Really get creative and still have that opportunity to have some flavor in your drink. Sugar really is in a lot of foods that we eat, and so I really want you to watch those labels. Think about how you can limit the sugar in your foods. Putting all of these steps together can really seem like a daunting task at once. I encourage you to pick one of the 4 tips that you felt most confident and motivated to start doing and commit to that for 2 weeks. Once you feel like that's become more of a habit, add another tip, and before you know it, you'll start reducing the inflammation in your body and feel much better. If you have further questions or want to learn more, I encourage you to schedule a complimentary consultation at Healthiest Ways to Wellness to visit our facility and speak with one of our coaches. Contact us at 651-232-1926 or visit our website at www.healtheast.org/ways to wellness.